All right, in case you didn't know, Insomniac has released the Sam Raimi suit, as it's popularly known, from the original Spider-Man trilogy that had Tobey Maguire. This is a long sought after suit by the fans. People wanted this really bad, and there was a large campaign to get it with the Raimi suit hashtag. People were hitting up Insomniac like daily. Can we get the suit? Can we get the suit? Can we get the suit? Now, whether or not this was planned, I don't know. If they were planning on doing this for Christmas like they did, they pretty much gave it away for free, which was really cool. They're like, here you go. We love the fans. You can have this for free. We want to show some appreciation. And, this is some pretty goodwill. And this looks really cool in the game. Check this out. Almost looks, I'm pretty sure this is done with the photo editor, but that looks like almost realistic, doesn't it? People are been going around simulating stuff from the movie. And it's been pretty cool. And most of the hashtags that I'm seeing here are pretty positive. Strike a pose. Everyone's being really cool about it. And I'm hearing that people were considering this toxic. I don't understand why, because people were saying, yo, can we get this suit? Hitting up the developer. That's what social media is for, right? Of course, the Mary Sue sees problems with that. Spider suits and Luke Skywalker. How entitlement is messing up fandom. So the Mary Sue, if you don't know, is a huge shill website. They love to just rain down on parades, call everybody every single ism and phobe in the book. Unless you're on the right side of history, of course, then they're cool with you. They like you at that point. But, a little bit of fun, a little bit of camaraderie and fans coming together on Twitter to get something. Well, that's not good in the Mary Sue's eyes because, well, we all know why. So, as usual, the people that like to be the fun police have something to say about this, and they pull this in for Star Wars. They talk about the Raimi suit, and then they just go on a huge Star Wars rant. And, of course, everyone gets called an ismphobe again. So let's take a moment, go through this dumpster heap, maybe get a little laugh at it, and, go from there. But this is a couple days old, December 21st, not too old. But, by the way, today is Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas. I will have a video out tomorrow, just one video today and tomorrow. I just want to give people some content, so I'll try to be a little bit more lighthearted. I got something fun for tomorrow planned, and then we'll get back to our regular schedule later on in the week. But I definitely wanted to give you guys something just in case, unboxing those PS4s or those Xboxes, popping them up on your TV. You go to YouTube, you can put your favorite YouTuber on, sit around by the fire and watch some of my videos and whatever TV you're using. So anyway, today the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit is now available for the Spider-Man PS4 game. This has been in the works for months, but the internet is taking credit for the decision because many fans threw what can be charitably termed a tantrum to get the suit, using the hashtag RaimiSuit. These fans have been harassing game developers Insomniac Games for a while now, trying to get the Raimi suit added as an option. Even though the suit was intended on being added, some are now taking it as a personal victory for their campaign, which will only lead to similar harassment in the future. See, now, I think that's stupid because how do you know that it wasn't the fan demand that made that suit happen? That's a really popular suit that people wanted. I would say that suit and probably the black suit are the two most popular suits, I want to think. Because those movies, really kind of were really big movies and culture phenoms. So to kind of brush that under the rug, I think is kind of disrespectful. But the Mary Sue, they don't understand that. And, that's what social media is for voicing what you want. You would think the people at the Mary Sue in their NPC rants on Twitter would understand that. I looked at the author of this article, and she's talking about, taking down power structures, wink, wink, if you know what I'm saying, and talking about old Donald all day long on there. So Who are you to talk about harassment campaigns, lady? You take part in one every day, it seemed like when I looked at your timeline. But now she's going to go into a big Star Wars rant and call everybody ism and phobes again. Similarly, fans launched a campaign to remake The Last Jedi. Although that one was decidedly not and never will be in the works, at least in our lifetimes. Angered by Luke becoming a more complicated character, as well as by characters of, and you see him right there, in leading roles. So they always want to say this of color and women in leading roles things. That's never really anybody's complaint. Now, the one complaint I always hear is with the ladies, and that's when they ironically become Mary Sues. Like, in The Last Jedi, like, Rey is legitimately, like, lifting 50,000 boulders and ships at the end of the movie when it took Luke Skywalker an entire trilogy to get there. Okay. That's lazy writing. Okay, maybe if it had done a better job, that'd be fine. I really take issue with this, that people have a problem with women in leading roles. That's not the case, okay? I can think of plenty of movies, particularly like the Kill Bill movies. No one had problems with that. Those are great movies, you know? They're great examples of, like, female leads that people like. The problem with Rey is Rey's just not an interesting character. She just gets everything. She can do everything. Where is there to like in there? There's no relating to Rey because nobody's perfect. It's kind of the truth of the situation. I'm not perfect. Why would I relate with a perfect character? So no. But they say this, color and women characters because it shuts down arguments. Well, like, that's why you don't like the movie, huh? And you're like, what? You step back, like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it shuts down the narrative quickly. You just have to accept it. Or you're an ismphobe. While most of the internet laughed at them, they are still out there. I don't think most of the internet laughed at them. I think the problem is most of the internet was with them, and that's why you're ranting on this article right here. They are still out there, and that they are, along with others who hated the film for similar reasons, continue to rage and scream every time a new Star Wars news is announced. Fandom has always been a little about taking part in creating something to do your favorite text, but there's a difference between crafting the perfect fan fiction and insisting your fan fiction become what happens on the big screen. The internet has blurred the line between creators and fans to a new degree, offering some sense of intimacy due to Twitter presences and ability to retweet and like what fans have said or created. However, that does not mean that creators are now beholden to do exactly what fans tweet at them. I agree with that. They're not beholden to do anything, but they should listen to the fan base to a point, right? To a point. I think that's a modest reaction to things. Like, maybe when you had millions of people tweeting at you, why are you doing that to Luke? Why are you making Luke big old punk? I think it might have been worth listening to them. Because without them, you have nothing. You have nothing. And ignoring them is what got you that Solo bomb. That was partially backlash, though Solo was a terrible movie. I like to go to the ending spoilers. If you don't see it, if you haven't seen it, it's terrible. But at the end of the movie, like Han Solo, the character who the film is named after, Solo, gets knocked to the ground. And then the co-star, Daenerys Targaryen, I don't even know her real name, picks up the weapon and becomes like the savior. Like, the name of this movie wasn't Daenerys, it was Solo. And I think right there is the problem with Lucasfilm. Like, even like in a main character's story, like, he should be the one that wins the day, not the co-star. But the Force is female, so what are you gonna do? You're just gonna have to accept it for what it is, right? You accept it, you toxic punk. All right, now I skipped 2 paragraphs because it's just pointless. But here's probably my favorite paragraph in the in the whole article. Listen to this. The only thing I would personally say creators owe fans, right? The only thing that creators owe fans is to make their work not ist or phobic, and to engage in and to not engage in toxic behavior. Representation is the only thing fandoms are owed, because it's a fairly moral imperative at this point in time. So the only thing they owe you is representation. They don't owe you a good story, right? They don't owe you proper handling of characters that you love. They only owe you representation, and that's it. And I like that they put in to not engage in toxic behavior. Well, they don't really hold their end of the bargain on that one. Border Town. So, yeah. Yeah. And then they talk about Lost here. They talk about, this is a good one too. Star Wars is another prime example. You've been talking about Star Wars the entire article. Who edited this? When The Last Jedi hit theaters, it had been years between Luke Skywalker's appearances on the big screen. Expectations were high, and both fan theories and of the old expanded universe had built up expectations of what Luke would be like. The idea tossed around was Luke pulling a Star Destroyer down from the sky with one hand and the Force alone. And then Luke was grumpy old hermit who had shut himself off from the Force. He later saved everybody with a grand display of Jedi skill, but he died in the process. Naturally, people did not like that, including Mark Hamill himself, who later apologized for voicing those initial worries. I think he kind of summed up why people were mad right here. I don't think anything else needs to be said. Fans expected Luke pulling a Star Destroyer down with one hand, and then they were introduced to a grumpy old hermit. That's the problem right there. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving people some fan service, right? Like, I did expect to see that. I wanted to see Luke do badass things. I haven't seen Luke do anything in 20 years, right? Well, a little shorter for me, but most people haven't seen people do anything in like 20, 30 years, right? I didn't have to wait that long, but I never saw these in the theater, right? A lot of people have been waiting since this, when was Jedi came out? What was it, the 80s, right? Was the last time? So a lot of people have been waiting since the 1980s to see Luke Skywalker do something. And seeing him pull a Star Destroyer down from the sky, I think, would have been really cool. But instead, we got some dude drinking cow milk on some desolate planet, dying like he was there to die. That was stupid. And the fact that you can't understand why people were mad about that really just blows my mind. It really does, because, fan expectations do serve a little sizzling here and there. And this big, long article is just a rant on why you don't deserve that. You're entitled. There are different types of entitlement, including the particular toxic entitlement of fans who don't like inclusive narratives. But there's a new kind of entitlement on the block, and if we don't cap it now, it will start to dominate fandom discussions and even more toxic environment that would be potentially damage fandom even more than the present discourse already has. So, what I find funny about this whole article, while we wrap this up, is the whole article kind of nails why some people are mad. Right here is the biggest one. Luke pulling the Star Destroyer down, and then finding out that Luke was a grumpy old hermit. But that's not the case. People were just mad because of the inclusive narratives, right? It's always that you're an ismphobe. You're an ismphobe if you don't like that Luke was drinking cow milk on some desert planet. You're an ismphobe if you ask Insomniac to give you what you want in that suit. You're an ismphobe if you don't accept that Rey from Star Wars can pretty much do anything with no training. You're going to question the logic of things? Well, you're an ismphobe. That's kind of the problem. And that's what gets people mad, is articles like this, Kate Gardner. You really need to sit back, get off your high horse, and kind of reassess, your place as a fan and try to have a little empathy, which you claim to be big on. But anyway, let me know what you think about this article. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me hit that notification bell, like and subscribe. Hit up the comment section for sure. Check out the links in my description. I got a link to my StreamMe, and I got a link to my Patreon. And then eventually, when they open it, the Jordan Peterson platform. Anyway, take care.